Sean has always been somebody that I wanted to be like.
Cassie.
Love her to death, naive, liked getting high. She likes partying. She liked that. Was the thing.
Speaking of the after parties.
I don't fucking know. Don't talk about no baby oil, man. Like, I still use baby oil. Y'all need to get into it. I saw Cassie grow up from a little girl that was willing to, like, give everybody motherfucking, lap dances, basically. And get drunk and just have a good, like, model time.
What's your relationship like with Dawn?
I don't fuck with Dawn like that. And I'm gonna fucking stand on business. I didn't see that. What I saw was what the fuck is going on with you because you acting weird. You're a weird bitch. Is what I seen. And it's a list of niggas. Where y'all at? Talk about it. Dawn's a weird motherfucker, man. But y'all motherfuckers call me to tell the truth. I'm finna motherfucker tell the truth. Just go with it. Just go with it. We don't have to think about nothing. Just go with it. Oh, just go with it. Just go with it.
What's good? My name is Chris Dowes. It's Trappin Anonymous. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you everybody for helping keeping the movement moving. We are just eternally grateful for all of you. I've been waiting on this interview for maybe a little over a year now. A lot of things that have transpired did not transpire before this, but there's no better time than the present. Remember that the stories that you hear reflect real life. They're here to educate. They're here to inform. And to hopefully keep your little homie off the streets. My name is Chris Dowes, Trappin Anonymous. Let's get it. Why'd you roll your eyes?
Nah, nigga, cause it's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is your name, and why do you think your story is important?
My name is Kalenna Harper Vick, and my story is important because it resonates with trauma. It resonates with healing. It resonates with just becoming your whole self. And it's important for me to speak out for the people that are in my lane, just who I represent.
Bring me to the best time in your life.
Best time of my life? Probably Dirty Money. Dirty Money was one of the best times of my life. Aside from being a mom and being married and all that stuff, but Dirty Money with Sean Combs.
Why? Why was it the best time of your life?
Fucking Sean Combs is like bigger than life. First of all, Sean has always been somebody that I wanted to be like. He's always been somebody who inspired me as a black man with a voice. Like he's just larger than life. He gets what he wants. He goes out for it. He's a hard worker. And so leading up to Meet and Puff, it was just all about being great enough for him to see that, like just see the work, not the work ethic, but the actual talent. And he's great at picking that out of the crowd, but he's also great at getting you to realize it. And so it's not hard for him to hype up a party or hype up a studio or just be the energy. Like, he's that guy. Like, he makes everything the shit. Like, yo, hold on, the energy's down. Everybody come on, let's wake up. He's that guy. He's coffee. He is the cocaine. The white, pure cocaine to everything that's fly. He's that.
Well, bring me to a moment he made you realize that you were exactly who you thought you was.
Probably when I did Strobe Lights was like the first moment we got to work together. And he had kind of been visiting me at the studio, at Rodney Jerkins' studio. So we would come and just hang out, got pictures and all of that stuff. Like, we would hang out with like Chris Tucker and like LaShawn Daniels, and we would just all be kicking it, and it was just like perfect. And Puff would come and just chill in my studio sessions and be like, yo, you the shit, He'd be like, nigga, let me sign you, nigga. You act like Mary. Like, we'd be at parties and we'd be just that. And we would just give that energy, brother and sister shit. And so when I first hear the beat, the Strobe Lights, all I hear is this boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? First of all, who did it? And so the engineer's telling me, and Puff slides out in his drawers and a t-shirt and just kind of like, finally you're here. Like I couldn't even get dressed. I'm so excited you're here. And I just knew like I had something that was magical and it was completely different from all of my peers. For him to react this way because he's the godfather to everything we do. And so, yeah, that was probably the first time I knew like, okay, I got something that I need to really take seriously as a businesswoman and as a woman in general. And then he would just tell me as I would grow, he'd be like, I see you, nigga, you know, you looking like an artist, you looking like yourself, you the shit, yo. And it just, he does that for people. And yeah, so that was the first time, I think, strobe lights. And then he started getting in the booth with me. I was like, Puff is in the booth with me, this is wild. And then trusting me, you know, trusting me to be able to say, that's not it, nigga. That shit's ugly. And us laugh and him do it. So it wasn't a fight. He was very different from what I expected based on what the rumors are in the industry.
And those rumors being?
He's a tyrant. He's the devil. He is evil. He is selfish and greedy. And I never heard he was Freaky 69 God, but that's the the vibes you get. Like, don't fuck with that nigga or your career's gonna be over. Like he's gonna block you forever. And I can't say that's not true, but my experience with him superseded those rumors.
So it's not more so that you didn't see maybe little hints or characteristics or character traits that would resemble some of these things. It's just that all of the good that he did for you superseded those things.
I think me coming from a traumatic household, I think my father being a Muslim drill sergeant that doesn't really like me, allowed me to accept certain things, just like from people in general. Like it wasn't too much a motherfucker could say to me to make me feel like bad because my stepdad was already doing that. He makes me feel like smaller than life. He doesn't talk life into me. He's like anything that I bring to him, he throws down. And so I think Puff knew that. I expressed that to Puff, but I also seen like he wasn't doing it to like, he didn't get a kick out of hurting me. It was like he was teaching me shit that I needed to know just to be stronger.
Right.
So I knew the difference. How about that? I could tell the difference.
I guess for somebody like you, you grew up and had to build this tough exterior, this really, really tough exterior. Then the ordinary average person doesn't have that tough exterior. Maybe, especially with women, they're considered to be more dainty, more, delicate.
Of course.
But you had this like, tenacity about you that you weren't want to be fucked with.
Yeah.
So maybe someone that didn't have that sort of upbringing, you could see how.
Of course. Could take advantage of. Yeah.
At what point did you feel like I'm out of here? Like this is my gifts, my talent is going to make me a millionaire. It's at what point was it like, yo, I'm here, I've arrived?
I ran away from home at 17. And I remember coming from work. I was like always a hustler. I graduated from high school, a licensed nail technician. And I just always like really strive to be like the best because I don't know. I think a lot of black women, I'm just speaking for my culture, but I think a lot of women can agree with this. But I think that a lot of our moms are like our first enemies. My mom had me at like 16. And so like watching your baby grow into like a woman and like watching her attract men and all that stuff, it just, I don't know. Whatever what my real father compared to my stepdad, whatever that was, created this kind of, I don't give a fuck. My mama did this to me, but I'm not gonna let nobody else fuck with me out in the street. I don't give a fuck who it is. But I wanted to make them proud. So she punched me in my face this day and she made my eye bleed. And I was like, I'm fucking out of here. And I'm gonna be everything that they say I can't be. Like, fuck this shit. And I'm gonna prove them wrong. Like, I'm not a whore. I'm not out here doing what the other fucking girls are doing. I'm not. Like they have built me up to be who I am, and y'all mean to tell me y'all gonna just like, like keep telling me that I'm not that. So I just took everything I had, and I didn't tell nobody I was homeless. I didn't tell nobody I was sleeping in my car, but I took a little hoopty that my stepdad gave me. I left home, and I fucking hit it.
Yeah.
Every fucking 8 o'clock every morning, I was at the studio. When the studio would close, I would fucking go sleep in the Walmart parking lot, and I would go back to the studio in the morning and just be there all day and just work. And it just kind of turned into this, like, she's here, she's talented, and then that just blossomed into what I needed it to be. So I pretty much manifested it.
Yeah, like the hours, like you put in the hours,
Yep.
the hours, the 10,000 hours. You did it so young.
Yep.
And under such excruciating circumstances.
It was bad. But it was good.
Yeah, like competition was nothing for you because nobody had.
Fuck no. I mean, like, I'm an athlete at heart. Like, I had a full scholarship to FAMU. I'm a track star. My sister is a professional track star, Nia Ali. And so, I don't know. I just think like this natural thing that my biological father put in me, despite him being there, it was there. And it was very different from me and my brothers and sisters. It was very different from my stepfather. It was very different from my mother. But I just knew I was jumping off the fucking porch. But I will say, despite the shit I went through that I can call bad, from a 17-year-old mind, it kept me from being the girl I probably could have been, because I was with it. I would have stripped and did it all. You know what I'm saying? Because I just had that gusto. I was going to try anything. But because I had like these parameters, like, God, and like just this like fear of like disappointing my parents, I just wanted to keep it straight, down the middle of the road.
You spoke about your biological father. You said your mother was 16 when she had you. How old was your biological dad?
If I'm not mistaken, he was 24. He was
24 years
older, yeah. And when my grandmother told me I was 14 years old, when I found out that my stepfather was not my biological father, but the way she told me was my mother was raped. So that was fucking, I remember when I asked her and she was like, yeah, your mother was raped. And I just was like, damn, man, I'm a product of rape. So it was like a double whammy. But what she meant was statutory rape. What she meant was my father was older. What she meant was she was my age when my mom got pregnant with me. So she probably like my dad, who was a stripper and who was, a beautiful exotic dancer and was like just an amazing performer. And probably, again, wanted to sit on some top. And so that changed a huge dynamic between my mom and her mom and everybody and everything. And so grandma was mad at him. If I'm not mistaken, my biological father's mom was like, keep your fucking daughter from around my house. Excuse my language. Told my grandma, like, yo, because she knew my father was womanizing. But my mother was also, and I'm not here to tell my mom's story because it's her job to do, because it's so powerful. But she was molested, and there was a lot of incest. My uncles are pedophiles and rapists. That's the real thing, right? So their victims are now reaching out to me through Facebook. And
What are some things that they said to you?
Well, one story in particular, my mother would tell me from the time I was 7 years old. I don't know if y'all ever heard this saying before, but emotional molestation is a real thing. And so if a molested woman has a daughter and she's telling her daughter what she's gone through, I think they forget that children are very imaginative. We're very like picturesque and descriptive in our thought process. And so my mom would tell me how she caught my uncle raping a 3-year-old between the tub and the toilet. And not finishing and not starting, but in full fuck mode with this baby. And I would just picture that and would feel so bad because I would be thinking like, well, what did my mom do? And I'm like, like my mom was supposed to be the hero of the story. She was supposed to knock that nigga in the head and like, but she never got there. And so as I got older and the story was being told, my mom spanked that little girl and took her downstairs with her pants down, and then they prayed around this baby. They prayed that the sexual demons would be out of this baby. And my uncle gave this baby syphilis. and chlamydia. So that means he had been doing it. And then come to find out when I talked to the girl, not only did he do it, but my Uncle Jerry was doing it too. So they was having sex with his baby probably together. And then the older sister gets taken and they're like checking her out and getting her ready. Mind you, I'm like an 8-month-old, 18-month-old baby downstairs sitting on the couch. Who's to say they didn't do anything to me in this family where our dog's name was Rapist? Who's to say? I don't.
They named the dog Rapist.
We had a fucking husky named Rapist.
And you don't recall any sexual abuse towards
I
you?
probably was too young, but I don't fuck with my Uncle Terry to this day. Like, if he walks in the room, I'd be like, fuck with that nigga. Like, you know, you talk to him because your mother still talks to him, right? It's still this fucking Stockholm syndrome. Everybody's still there at Christmas. It's okay, but don't go upstairs with Uncle Terry. You know?
And what happened to your mom?
My mom has my children in Texas. And she's, you know, living a life with, you know, my stepdad. Like, everything is okay and everything is super normal. And they're trying to normalize keeping secrets. And I think that's a huge thing, right? And so that's how music became an outlet for me, because I grew up in a real traumatic, abusive, fucking crazy place, you know?
So when I was asking, what sort of sexual abuse did your mother experience?
Yeah, so my grandmother would never admit it, but my grandmother was on heroin. I dare anybody to challenge that. And she was married to Jesus when she died. Jesus was my grandfather. Okay, every morning the coffee, the bacon, the Bible, and her in a prayer box, and praying in tongues. And I loved it, don't get me wrong. But as I go back in this story and realize that my grandmother quickly married Jesus because she would leave her children unattended with people that she allowed in her home alone, because grandma was probably withdrawn somewhere in North Carolina from drugs and didn't want nobody to see her, or whatever the case may be. But she left her babies home with a grown man, her twins. My grandmother had 2 sets of twins 11 months apart, and she left them home, and they all were sexually molested from the time they were like 3 on up. Right. So if they're being molested by people and then they're being left alone, then they're doing it to each other. Right. It's crazy.
How many children did your father have?
My biological father has 33 children. It's 33 of us. It's a lot of us. And I'm the second eldest. Yeah, it's a lot.
Is he alive? What happened with your dad? What's your relationship like with him now, if there is one? Or
sadly, my father, it's crazy, I never talked about this in the interview, but my dad committed suicide in 2009. It was a murder-suicide. He committed suicide after killing his mistress in front of her 7-year-old daughter. And like, when it happened, I was in Dirty Money and we were just getting started on promo. My sister was a famous track star. And I always feel bad because I left it on her to like deal with, because my name is not Ali. So I was able to like, you know, not get those questions. But after she would run races and win them, they would ask her like, and your dad just committed suicide? And she would have to answer those questions. And I felt bad for years for not helping her carry that weight. But I feel even worse for the little girl. And like every day I think about just apologizing to her for that. Like, for my dad, you know. It's kind of fucked up.
Why did your father do it?
I don't know. I don't know.
Stopping you from reaching out to her?
What do you say? What do you say? I don't know. I wish he was here. don't know. I don't know. But if I had to say anything, I would say, people know when they do wrong. And I think he knew he did wrong. And I think he knew that there was like no other way that he was going to get around this. My dad was a child psychologist with 33 kids with other women, And so he fucked up big, and that's just what that is. But if I could just hug that little girl, because I could imagine what she felt like that day. Like she just thought she was going to school. You know what I mean?
If she was to see this episode,
I would tell her I love her and I'm sorry. I'm sorry that she had to endure that. I'm sorry that she's been alone and nobody has poured into her the apologies that she deserves. I'm sorry that her mom's not here to see her get married and have kids and be a grandma to her kids, and my dad took her away. I'm sorry for that,
Yeah. I want people to get a sense of who you are.
Yeah. I'm a softie. I cry at anything.
I really, really want them to get a
Yeah.
sense of where you come from.
Yeah.
And
I come from the hood, the dirt, the real one. I come from North Philly in the 80s.
you told me you would go from door to door.
Yep. When I had I think I was about, excuse me, I'm sorry. I think I was about 14 at this time, and it's crazy because there's like so many memories. But I was like in like orchestra, and I was like classically trained, and I was in all state choir. I don't know if you know what that means, but like if you're like a gifted kid, you get put in these like choirs and groups and stuff like that. And so we were called y'all don't kill me because y'all gonna see this, but creative impressions. And so Mrs. Sanders was the director's name, and she was the first person that taught us about fundraising. And so I was like, this is interesting. So what if I took like her whole thing and just like made it mine, and like put a Ziploc baggie behind it and just go to house and sing. And so I think that was the first time I ran away from home. I was 14, and I just went to every door and I just sung my heart out, and people would give me like $50, $100, whatever. And I just, I remember like, yo, I'm gonna get enough money, I'm fucking running away. And that was the first time I got on a bus somewhere and went somewhere. And my mom was looking for me. Everybody was like, oh, your mom's on the school bus looking for you. It was crazy.
What was one of the songs you sang?
I am not singing it out, but it was a gospel song, and
How did it go?
I'm not singing it right now, but I will sing it to you at the end. But I would go, and I think I was better at younger. I was a better vocalist and just like more invested in the actual art. And now I'm just like kind of focused on like the business and like music, that part, like the vocal production. But I was a rare talent.
You said your mother has your kids. You want to speak about?
I do.
Why does she have you?
My mom had my kids for the reason every woman needs their mom to help them with children when they are working. My mother has my children because I wanted to build a relationship with her and show her that I was a good mom, I was a good protector, and I wanted her to enjoy being a grandma because I loved my grandma. Despite her not being perfect, but for me, the first grandchild, she was everything. And I felt like my mom deserved that. Given the fact that she was going to do it in a co-parenting type of,
Right.
and in a respectful way to say like, I respect you as a mom and I'm just going to be grandma. But my mother is very overbearing and pushy and controlling. And so for her, I don't do shit right. I'm not good enough. my husband's not good enough. I'm just not good enough. And so she can do it better. And so my baby brother died in 2021. And after leaving my kids there for the summer, and then Misha going to school, like, first of all, let me back up. Being on TV affects your children and affects your family. So when you out at restaurants, people walking up to you, running up to you, are you trying to eat with your kids? They take offense to that. The kids are like, oh, not again, right? Because they want mommy to themselves. And so this one moment I have my mom to myself is still being intruded upon. And then when I go to school, people are saying, well, why don't you got new J's on? Why, if you rich, why you got new shit you wearing? If you rich, you live in a big house. And then you got this beautiful kid that's like, well, it's not about what you have. And he's doing that and he's fighting. And I just felt as a mom, as a responsible motherfucker, like, let me take my motherfucking kid somewhere where he's not being bullied. And that was my parents' house that I helped them buy on a ranch where he's peaceful and can run without any qualms. But I thought that that's what the plan was.
And she never gave him back?
She won't give my kids back. So when I got there for the funeral, my brother's funeral, I knew that that would exacerbate the feeling of not wanting to let go because she had the kids through COVID-19. But I didn't know that it was going to cause her to create this hate bigger for me. And I'm not trying to talk about, I can't really talk about a lot of things about the case, but I will say, just respect to the kids too, because Shaq is 17 and Noah's getting older. But I will say that I love my kids so much. My kids are completely made out of love. Like, I love my husband. I adore everything about Anthony Vick. You know what I mean? And like, when I look at those little kids, that's what I see. I see like my husband and I see myself, and I just want to be the best for them. And so I would never do anything to hurt them. And I've always only wanted to be the best mom. Like, nobody cusses around my kids. Nobody smokes around my kids. I don't got motherfuckers running in and out of my motherfucking house. And I think that's what you're supposed to do. And I am painted as a completely opposite individual. Like, my parents think I'm just out here wilding and just doing anything. But I'm probably one of the most conservative, trap listening, booty shaking motherfuckers you ever meet.
What age did you get married?
Got married in 2009.
2009?
Yeah. November 9th.
So you've been married for, don't get me do the math.
Do the math.
2009, 2019, that'll be 10 years. So that's about 15 years.
But I've been with my husband for 20.
But you've been with him for 20?
Plus. Yeah.
How many children does he have?
It's 11 altogether.
11. When you met him, how many children did he have?
7.
7.
Yeah. 7 kids.
7 kids.
And I love them all. I love every one of them.
I can't help but just draw the comparison
Exactly. I mean, that's what we do, right?
between your father.
Is that what we do?
And y'all been kicking it ever since.
I fuck with him. I think he's the illest nigga in Nebraska. Like, he's smart. He's so beautiful. He's so kind. He is so generous. He's so fair. You know, he's taught me that. He's taught me, like, no, pay the people. Or, like, give them a tip. Or, like, he's like that. Like, give them what they deserve.
That also means you were married at the height of your career.
Yes.
What was that dynamic like?
It was fucking crazy. Because I think sometimes men forget that they're dogs and they do shit to women. And at that time, we were coming off a cheating high where he had a baby on me.
Wow.
And so that was huge. I had just had Shaq. And like, I'm getting calls from his baby mama like, yeah, and I'm pregnant, you know. And it was just a lot of that. And it was just him doing shit that was familiar hanging with familiar people. So it was a lot of reminding him that he was worth more. But it took more convincing for me to be like, I'm not going to be like these baby mamas. And so I was like, I'm going to achieve everything that I want to achieve as a woman. And I'm going to make him understand what he has. But I ain't going to do it to him. Because I could have cheated and fucked around and did all kind of shit. But I was like, nah, I'm cool.
What's sort of like the most, I don't know, lucrative advance that you probably got in an industry?
Oh, yeah. I had somebody say they wanted to pay me $100,000 a month to be to their disposal. You know, just like what they say is dinner and just be on their arm, like arm candy. But that ain't what that is.
Yeah.
And so I just didn't think that was like something. I mean, shit was crazy at the time. Like, you know, I think I was like learning my values. So I started doing certain sessions. I started doing certain things. And so when I got on Love and Hip Hop, of course, that brought a lot of attention. A lot of niggas talking about, oh, I'll be your sugar daddy, whatever. But this specific person was in the gospel industry. Wow. And somebody famous in the gospel industry. And was like, basically, like, I don't want nobody to know, but I'll pay you this to be like my second wife almost. And I was like, yeah, no, fuck that, I'm cool.
What's sort of the dichotomy between you being the breadwinner and him sort of being maybe your assistant or manager?
No, it's not that. I think people totally misconstrue that. When I met Tony, he was managing Jason Weaver and a couple other people. So yeah, actors and like DJs and stuff up underneath him. But when I went pro, Tony was a real estate guru. Like he's really worth more than me if you look up his net worth. And so Tony was already well off. And so I was well taken care of. And had Bentleys and Rolls Royces because of Tony. And so like when I went pro, it was just an opportunity for him to protect me and to build trust back in our relationship. So we were well off financially. And now I just had my own money and my own career that I was going for. But he had the time and the leisure to follow me around the world and to prove that he would never hurt me again. And that's kind of what that was. But that caused this insecurity in him where he felt challenged as a man, right? Because you like you breadwinner and everybody's after you. But then I like kind of flipped the page where I was like, I'm going after my dream, baby and husband and all. And if you want to be a part, fuck with me. If not, cool. And I guess when you get there, men are intimidated. And so my husband was like, yeah, it was different. We both come from the hood. Like he's from Boston. And I'm not making excuses for him because he has his own story I'm sure he could share with you. But my biggest thing is that there's no rule book to this shit. We're all just figuring this shit out in any relationship. And I think that when we don't recognize each other's value and other people do, it kind of wakes you up. It's like a coffee in a sense. And it makes you feel like, I gotta stop fucking playing games. And that's what that was. So it was a lot of fighting and arguing. It was a lot of jealousy. It was a lot of insecurity. I didn't trust him as far as I could throw him. I would tell him that. I mean, he had a baby on me. He had 6 baby mamas prior. And you still gotta talk to them about school clothes and shit. What you talking to them about? You know? So we both had trust issues. So it was a lot of growing up and building and communicating and very like interesting how we had to like come to grips with letting control go and say, open up the, I love you, you love me. And if we do, we will be better for each other. We won't keep arguing and fighting each other and challenging each other because we're alphas.
How bad did the fighting get?
It got bad. I was fucking him up. He was fucking me up. You know, like I would hit him in the head with mugs, coffee mugs, and like, you know, make his head bleed and shit, and fucking, he needs stitches to be fucked up, you know? Now, he didn't fuck me up that bad, you know what I'm saying? But it would be more of me, like, trying to not be weak. And then I would just I had the anger issue more than him. I did. I just want to take accountability. I don't think a lot of women do, but I did. I had more of the like thing to prove to other people. Like, I'm not like these other bitches, and like, he ain't gonna be running over me. It was a lot of that. It was a lot of hurt just in general. I couldn't believe that after all I had told him that he still did what he did, but the psychology behind that is he's still a human too, and he was just learning how not to do the things that he was used to doing. And I just didn't see it that way. I just was working out of trauma and what I've been taught. I've been taught to fight back and fight.
At the height of your career, what did your bank account look like?
I was a millionaire. Easy. I was a millionaire.
And what was the average day like for you?
Just chill, lay around, kick it, get up and say, what we gonna do today? Call all our friends over, take care of everything they had going on, and like just whatever.
Do you think you did the right things with your money?
No, I didn't the first time. I didn't. I think I did what everybody does the first time. Because of our culture and where we come from, ain't nobody teaching us about financial literacy. Nobody's teaching us how to spend our money. Nobody's teaching us how to save our money. And nobody's teaching us how to pick friends. And so that looks like you want to prove to your people you're a real motherfucker. You're not going to forget about them. And so you want to take care of everybody with you. You do. I took 30 people with me on tour. 30 people, and I was picking up random people at the same time. So that meant cars I was renting. I still had condos that my children were living in, and I wasn't even there. I was just spending liquid, and because I knew nothing about credit. I was afraid of credit, like most black people are. We're afraid of credit. Like you say, spend credit, get plastic, and it's like, oh no, I ain't never owe my credit, because that's how they get you caught up. But that's the way. And so I was spending a lot of liquid, but I lived off that money for years until there was no money to live off of, right? Because it's not about what money you have coming in. Going out is about what money you have going in. And at the time, I can't tell you what happened. Like, shit stopped. It stopped after dirty money. Kind of felt like I was blocked a little bit, like not blackballed, but just a little blocked.
By who?
I don't know. Some say Puff. Some say other people.
What would you say?
I don't fucking know. I'm not blocked now, so. I don't fucking know. Get to the bag, nigga. Like, yeah. I don't know. But I think that time kind of like fixes everything. I mean, who's to say? I think we block shit ourselves. Like, I think we get into mental spaces where we want to blame it on other people, but it was just a nasty place me and Tony were in. It was a nasty place I was in. It was a nasty place to not have the support from my family and the love. I was flying my brothers and sisters out and spending thousands of dollars on birthdays.
What's your relationship like? What's your relationship like with Dawn?
I don't fuck with Dawn like that. I mean, I do, like as a person, like as a individual, like my heart. But she never was like sisterly. She never was like somebody who I could say wanted to take care of me. So as much as I tried, she wouldn't let me in. Maybe that was because of Danny Decane. I don't fucking know. I don't know those girls like that. I know D Woods in passing. I know Chanel from the studio. They were always cool in passing, but I don't know the dynamics of that shit enough to be able to tell you like where it came from. But it was like weird shit happening while we were in the group. Like even if I would just ask to like rehearse. Let's rehearse, nigga, just AMAs, you know what I'm saying? And she would like laugh at me and keep it moving. Yeah, it would be weird shit like that. And I would be like, like, I don't know. I think we all have like different executive functions. And when you come into this business, the first thing you got to be thinking is like, if somebody's going to fly me out of town, I need to eat. So then that's a per diem. Or if you're a writer like me and you work in a studio and you're working on a budget, you automatically know that there's a food budget. But she just was like, she didn't know these things. So I would come in the studio and be like, where's the food budget? What we eating tonight? And it was like, food budget. Like, yeah, it's a food budget. It's a tab. You know, we're running it up. Or like, I'm finna go get my per diem. Like, he got us in New York and we live in LA. If you have me in New York and I live in LA and we're working in LA, but we're in New York for a short amount of time, I need per diem so I can live. And so I was having those conversations, and Dawn didn't even know what per diem was. So I pay homage to my husband for being a real nigga. Excuse my language. We were just talking about. Like, she wasn't like my sister. That's what I expected her to be. Like, I really wanted us to be like a family. But hopeful thinking, wishful thinking.
But what?
Wishful thinking.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah. I always want sisters. I always want brothers. Like, I love family. I want to be people's family. Like, I love everybody. So, like, I just want to, I think it's, yeah, it's a part of me that want to be accepted. It's trauma. Yeah. And I just want people to like me. It's the thing.
You got named quite a few times in Dawn's lawsuit. I'm assuming there wasn't a conversation beforehand.
No. No.
What was it like finding that out when you woke up?
I was angry. I was pissed. You know, I'm feeding my frogs, dude. Like, you know, I'm working on my project. I'm at the end of it. And I'm just like waiting on my time, and I'm like just talking to God and like learning his voice, and then all of a sudden it's like a rip shot. Cause Dawn knows me, and she know that all she ever had to do if something was going on was to say something, and it would have been fucking on. Like Donkey Kong, like the fuck we talking about? We would have jumped that nigga. We would have fuck out of there. Or whatever. But that wasn't the case. Like, she never, to be honest with you, though me and Puff garnered a closer relationship, going into it, Dawn and Puff were closer. They had rapport. So, Puff can be mama a little bit, like little fucking catty. So, I just always thought that for his protection, possibly he could have been like just keeping distance between everybody. That's the thing, right? And it's a control thing as well. So I just thought maybe it could be that. But I think more than anything, it was more like, it was literal competition though. Like, she literally looked at me like a threat. And like, I possibly could have been getting more than her because I had my husband and different things. But that wasn't the case. It was just the way I negotiated my deal. And I was already good. I was already good from publishing deal. I was already good from other things that were happening in my life. So I think she just possibly thought Puff gave me more than her, and she just didn't have that. But that wasn't how that went.
What do you make of the ingredients in her lawsuit?
I think it's, I don't want to say bullshit, but I think maybe if my lips are, I think maybe Dawn is I don't know. I ain't gonna sit here and lie and shame the devil, but I will say broke motherfuckers would make you, they would do anything for money. And I just want what she's saying to be the truth. Because I'm confused. And if it's the truth, why wait so long to say anything? I don't know, guys. Like, nobody's fucking with me at that capacity, and I don't say shit. Everybody's finna know it. I'm finna be locked up, 766, 911 call, police fucking locked up, crate, all that. Nobody's doing shit like that to me. And at some level, I didn't be like.
Is it fair to say maybe your upbringing, maybe who you are, you have that exterior where you ain't doing that to me. You get what I'm saying? For everybody, it's not that.
It's not. And it could have possibly been that. But I think being in a group with somebody, it makes it very intimate. Like we were naked together a lot. We were getting dressed in places. We woke up in the same places. We were sleepy in the same places. We were hungry in the same places. Our underarms stunk in the same places. And so when you're that intimate, it's kind of hard to miss. If somebody's suffering or something's going on like that, it's really hard to miss.
Cassie.
Love her to death, naive, liked getting high. She likes partying. She liked that. Was the thing. She's a model. She was well taken care of. She was.
You told me a story about going to an apartment one time.
You know which one? The fucking one that would look like a closet? That all white fucking condo in New York? That's just glass with glass stairs escalating up the fucking 70-foot ceiling, 100-foot ceiling. Wild shit. Spoiled. So I'm not saying Cassie is not deserving of any of these things, but this was her life. And so though I was okay, I was like middle class okay. She was like, rich girl, I want to go hang out with my friend for the weekend in fucking Tahiti, okay. And just lay up and get sun, okay.
You asked her how much she was making.
Yeah, I just wanted to know where her allowance was because she had an allowance. And I wanted to know if she was being smart with her money and she was being smart with the opportunity, because the first thing I think is like, what would I do in that position? I don't know. I would own homes. I would have owned businesses. I would have been giving other people opportunities. I wouldn't have been waiting for Puff to do my project. I would have been doing my own project. I just would have had a lot more. Like, nigga, you gonna do this shit for me. Because I would have done it for myself. And so when I asked how much she was making, it was like close to $30,000, almost $50,000 a week. That's a lot of money. Even on the low end, when you say $10,000 a week, that's a lot of money for somebody to just, here you go. You can just blow that. And then cars for your family, and then flights for your family, and then all that stuff. I'm just saying. And I'm just allegedly talking, right? Because who knows what she was really getting.
Yeah.
Right? Because we don't know. But what I will say is, if in fact that's what Cassie was getting, and that's what she was privy to, I think I would have been trying to strive to show my husband that I was queenly enough to be entitled to take care of his billions and millions of dollars and possibly his children and be the queen of that empire. But I didn't see that per se. I just saw like Cassie having a good time as a young girl and really didn't want the bothers of like that life until later. And this is probably when I was pregnant with Noah. I don't mean to cut you off. But being pregnant with Noah, and I have pictures online, I went and seen Puff perform in Atlanta. I was pregnant, really pregnant, with Savannah. Not Noah, Savannah. And I was about to have my baby girl. And I remember walking in, like, backstage and walking in the bathroom, and I'm like, see her and Jessica White, and they're all sitting on the counters in the bathroom. And Cassie looks at me and she's like, see, that's what I want. And I hope I'm like that. I hope I look as sexy as you, like that. And the last conversation me and Cassie had was basically like, I seen this woman that was coming out, and I was like, I'm done with the shit, and I'm ready for it. Like, and I was like, okay. So that was my last, and that had been years. Do you think I was with Puff in 2009 to 2012, 11, 12. And so I had Savannah in 2016. Cassie had grown immensely. Now, I wasn't around in that time. So what transpired in the time between Dirty Money ending and me seeing them again, I fucking don't know. So anything could have transpired. But I will say is, I saw Cassie grow up from a little girl that was willing to like give everybody motherfucking, lap dances basically. And get drunk and just have a good like model time. She was a sweetheart though. But seeing her do like just have a good time as a young girl and then turn into like, no, this is what I want. But she had watched me and she had watched so many other women. So I see that, the power. But I didn't see how she was being kept somewhere she didn't want to be. I didn't see that. Did I see the videotape like everybody else? Yes. Yes. But did I see that ever, like in person? Fuck no. Like, it's private and then it's business. You didn't see us on the tape. We were in the hotel. That was a private thing. Like they had like a private hotel that they would go and stay at. Private places. They would go on private trips because it's a private thing. And me and my husband do a private thing. So I didn't see that dichotomy while I was there. It was just like, I'm really business too. I think that changes how people deal with me. I'll come in and I'm work and that's it, and everything's separate from me. So, but I love Cassie though.
The abuse, you never notice maybe any scars, any bruising, or maybe she come to you, confide in you, and hey, like, just stuff like that.
I think normal shit.
Yeah.
Like, what girl don't be like, I fucking hate this, no,
Yeah.
I don't know. It just looked all normal to me. And at that time, I'm just telling you that I was going through my own trauma. I was fighting my husband. And like, we were doing weird shit. We were trying to grow out of and learn how to navigate being in front of the camera and not show people we were doing that. It's just a lot. We were like manager and fucking artist, trying to remember that we were husband and wife. So I didn't have a lot of space in my head for that kind of rent. I just didn't have like space in my head for somebody to sit and talk to me about them being abused when I felt like I needed my nigga to treat me better. Or maybe I wasn't being the best wife.
Wow. So, and not to stay on her too long, what do you make of her whole suit and, the money that she
Look,
got?
I'm proud of anybody who speaks up and stands up for themselves. Yeah. But I feel like I wish I could have heard the whole truth of her side. I wish they would have talked about all of the beautiful moments that she had with Puff too. I think it's like the pebble in the shoe concept. This one situation is exacerbated, but if I'm not mistaken, I seen her with Puff after Kim died. Wasn't she with that other guy already? I think she had left, right? She was like in a whole nother relationship with the trainer that Puff paid for. Yeah. So, I don't know. I just feel like I was shocked, to say the least. I just didn't think she had that in her, and I didn't think that she would. Good for her, is what I'm saying. If being a hero for her children, her husband, and her everything, really, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart, good for her. If standing on her truth is that, I necessarily wouldn't have handled it that way. Unless the motherfucker was really a monster and y'all would have known it off top.
Right. I look at the industry. Hollywood is like, it's like the worst drug that they have on the table. Right?
It's a lot.
So if you look at the cocaine or whatever, fentanyl even.
I don't know what the fuck they're doing now, right? Ketamine, like
right,
weird shit, right?
Horse tranquilizer.
Crazy names, yeah. Zombie shit.
You look at that. You look at the plated drugs, And it's like Hollywood is probably like the worst thing you could probably do. What are some of the worst things you've seen in Hollywood?
I've seen my friends go from like sweetest tomboy, sing on the spot, creative people to like drunk, drug using, oversexed.
What do you mean by oversexed?
Oversexed, like you're told that sex sells. You're taught pussy and dick in the industry.
Right.
And that's how they teach you from a child. If you get in this industry as a child, they teach you that sex sells. That's a big one. And when you tell somebody that, they start then playing with ideas of how they look, how they can manipulate people with how they look, how I can keep the truth hidden with how I look. Sex is not just dick and pussy like we think. Sex is a whole experience. And I think learning to work that magic in Hollywood becomes not just addicted in itself, but it's like imposter syndrome. So I've seen my friends go from like their true selves to like the Halloween version of themselves.
Right.
LA will do it to you. It's a psychedelic place.
Man.
With no clubs for real. Like everything closes early. It's wild.
What's going on at the after party? Speaking of the after party.
I don't fucking know. Don't talk about no baby oil, man. Like, I still use baby oil. Y'all need to get into it. Like, yo, put it, yes, it's a good thing. It is. It's great. I love it. They did, though. So they basically denied Puff's bail because he called me 56 times. So I feel really bad because I feel like...
He called you, yeah.
But my nigga called me. I will get in fucking court and stand up for my nigga if I need to, because it would be no different if it was you and me. I don't know. I think we're close enough right now. Like, you're really my friend. So, nigga, like, I'll be calling Chris and be like, yo, the fuck going on? This bitch, you know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, we gonna go back and forth. Like, yeah, read that shit and call me back, nigga. And you're gonna read it and you're gonna call me back and you're gonna be like, we're gonna do that. And it's like, what you think? Because now we're doing recall. And so that's not tampering. That's fucking recall because that bitch is lying. That's how I felt. And you don't gotta say this. You know, we gotta be clear because we wanna be clear about everybody. We wanna make sure we're good. And I'm gonna fucking stand on business. I didn't see that. In every video you see us in, Dawn didn't look scared. Did you see her look scared to you? No, for real. Look at the video you just looked at. Look at the video. I don't look scared. I'm just saying, if my friend looks scared, I'm gonna be like, the fuck wrong with you? The fuck going on with you, bitch? If I look scared and I come here and I'm going through something with anybody and I don't look the same, your question to me was gonna be like, the fuck going on with you? I didn't see that. What I saw was what the fuck is going on with you because you acting weird. You're a weird bitch, is what I seen. And it's a list of niggas. Where y'all at? Talk about it. Dawn's a weird motherfucker, man. She is. She's fucking weird, bro. And so, yeah, I ain't, trying to motherfucking go to jail and no shit. But y'all motherfuckers call me to tell the truth. I'm finna motherfucker tell the truth. All of it. Cause every fucking body was there and a part of this shit. Niggas was fucking niggas. Bitches was saying they like to fuck bitches. Everybody was there with the shit. And as conservative as I am, and I try to tell people, yeah, I used to date girls. I think women are the sexiest thing on the planet. I'm now married to a man, and I am dedicated to him. But if I had to choose, I would choose bitches. I say it all the time, but I think people get that twisted. Like, me and my husband be jumping the fuck off all the time. But that's not the case. We done jumped off a couple times, but that's my motherfucking business. It's the truth. So I can go on Pornhub and I can go down to the fucking, categories to, husband watches wife get banged by Mandingo. And I can pull up all of these things, but nobody's talking about that. And we sit there and we condemn our people, brothers and sisters, for truly being themselves. But you'll get by yourself in the bathroom with your baby oil and jerk your dick. to your neighbor's wife getting banged by her stepfather. What the fuck kind of weird shit is that? So we have all of these like secret pleasures that we like to indulge in, but don't want to say it in the court of public opinion. When you do the fucking crime, do the time. I don't give a fuck what you like, long as it's not fucking children and my fucking dog. Cause I got a thing about that, right? Cause my uncle's a rapist, right? So I wasn't gonna be around no fucking body that was bringing 13-year-olds. Talking about, oh, they sexy. The fuck out of here. And I wasn't gonna be around nobody that was beating nobody, cause I didn't like that because I was abused. My mom hit me in my face on Mother's Day in the motherfucking ICU with my son sitting there, you know? So I'm just saying, like, yo, we gotta talk about the tough things and then be accountable. We gotta be able to say, if I had $1 billion and I couldn't walk down the street alone, and my kids need security, like, how would I do things? Who do I go to have fun? Who are my friends? Who can I trust? Who really, like, gives a fuck about me? You know, when Puff would give me my money, like, he would give us checks, and we get money, I would always spend some money on him. I would always, like, go buy him a pair of sneakers or, like, some piece of art or something. Because I would want him to know, like, I appreciate what you're doing for me. You giving me an opportunity. And this opportunity can turn into something that could change me and my family's life, depending on how I perceive that. And I think a lot of us miss it. We miss the boat because we expect people to come in and change our life with this magic stick, and it don't happen like that.
How does it feel for you to sort of be the person or the reason why Diddy's bail gets denied?
I think it's fucked up because I think what we're not understanding is they don't understand black people. They don't understand how we communicate. We are very passionate people. And one thing you got to know about any average black woman, you're not pushing her to do shit she don't want to fucking do. So, motherfucker, you're not going to call me in the middle of the fucking night and be begging me or tell me what the fuck I'm going to do. But what I am going to say is if you fucking name me in a fucking suit and say I was complicit in there, I'm fucking saying something. So you ain't got to worry about me not saying something. It's just what I got to say. So give me a second to think about what the fuck I'm saying. So I'm going to calm my emotions down. And I'm going to do it, but I got to do it my way. Because if I do it off of emotion, it's going to sound crazy. And I'm going to go in there fire hot-headed. And I'm going to be cussing. And I don't want to represent that woman anymore. I want to be a lot more methodical in my approach. Why? Because there are little girls watching me. And there are people that haven't seen me speak up and haven't seen me say anything. And I feel bad. And I want to write him. I want to see him. I want to tell him I love him. I want to tell him to keep his head up. If he did something wrong, talk to God. You know, it's going to work out. And then I would tell him anything similar to what I would tell somebody else in trouble that shot fucking Pookie down the street. This nigga's running up on nigga and killing people. They dumping niggas' bodies in front of people's houses. And you people's put money on Pookie bail.
They're worried about baby oil.
And y'all worried about baby oil and this nigga fucking men. That was there. With they assholes tooted up. Looking for an opportunity.
What did Diddy do? What is
I don't know. I'm confused.
you spoke to me about sort of like producers taking advantage.
Yeah.
I guess using a false sense of opportunity to get what they wanted.
Yeah, it happens a lot. I mean, just for instance, I don't know, when I was 18, like just getting in this industry, it's like you meet these talented young people and, you know, these men are spending like hours in the fucking studio and not for nothing. I guess it's magical to meet somebody like really talented, but we be young, we be babies. And as soon as my dad left me alone with J. Little John, every opportunity he had to have sex with me, he did. everyone. And I was little, like I was young. Like, I wasn't like doing all of that, but I didn't know how to respond to it. Like I didn't know how to stand up for myself and speak up and say, no, this is not what I want. And I think most girls go through that, but I did make a decision in my head and say, this will never happen again.
What would you call what happened to you?
I was taken advantage of. I was vampired for my energy, my body. I was molested. I was literally like, molestation is different from rape because molestation is kind of like it's a process. It's a grooming process. And so like the process for that was like, you know, he could play really well. He was very talented. And though I was 18, he was grown. And his thing was he knew he was talented and he knew I was in all of that. And he knew I wanted to do music and do all of those things. So because that was a carrot on his stick, he used that. But he also told me to be quiet because his mother was upstairs. And his brother was upstairs. Like, can you imagine like coming to the studio? He's a pallet on the ground. The mic is there to entice you to know that. But the whole session is him fucking you. We never did a song together.
Never did a song together.
No.
And I guess what about all the women that enter the industry
Yep, with dreams.
with dreams, searching for the opportunity,
Yep, willing to do anything for it.
willing to do anything for it, and they just, as you bluntly put it, get fucked on a pallet on the floor
Yes.
and go
It never
home.
happens. Yeah, because these people never tell you that they're just not, that they're like not even the middlemen. They're not even the runners. They are doing the same thing you're doing. They want to make it too. But because you're young and you're naive and you're beautiful and you're unused and you're fresh, and it's just all of those vibes, along with this young woman trying to navigate her own sexuality and don't know how to say no. And a man knows that and he takes advantage of that. Like, you're a kid still. I had my dad drop, I'm a kid,
Yeah.
ultimately. It wasn't like I was talking to him like sexually, like I was trying to get with him or anything like that. This was strictly like, you know how sexy you are? You know, you're really dope. You know, it was a grooming process.
Yeah. We call that in church prostituting your gifts. You know, using what God gave you
That's it.
as a way to feed your sexual desires.
That's what you did.
And it's like the most common thing in the industry.
Yeah. It was always like songwriters trying to like put
Yeah.
their fingers in your pussy and smell your pussy and like tell you like what kind of women they like and like.
But I got you with this record though, like,
Yeah,
you know.
but let me smell your pussy. Like, yeah, what kind of panties do you wear? Do you wear thongs? You don't wear thongs? You shouldn't wear no panties. Like, these are men. The Maces, the everybody. Like, yeah. The everybody. Like, everybody I've met that were men, like, outside of my husband protecting me. Yeah.
And this was acceptable. This was the norm. This was the industry. This is how you get on.
It is the industry. Yes.
That's how you get on.
Yes.
So sort of like what's happening now is like that shift is happening. It's like, okay, no more of this.
Exactly.
No more. Y'all
Exactly.
better tighten up
Exactly.
or you're getting canceled, thrown in jail, or sued.
I mean, I think everybody has to pay for any transgressions that are made.
sure.
But I think the biggest part of this is cutting out this systemic monster that happens, like these couch conversations, these couch interviews
Right.
that happen, and girls expecting that this is what they should do.
Right.
What if I was a stripper and that's what I did? I didn't have sex for money, but I stripped. And then I wanted to be in the music industry. And then I have titties and I got ass and I'm sexy and I'm all of those things. And I go in the studio and I'm gonna work. But then now a producer is gonna take advantage of that because I used to be a stripper.
100%.
Yeah. And it's almost like some niggas feel like to make you sexier, it's like I gotta fuck you a certain way and I gotta tell you how sexy you are and tell you you're dope. Now hopefully I'm that nigga that can be like a T-Vic, but T-Vic didn't do it to me.
Right.
I want to make that very clear because I think a lot of niggas that meet T-Vic be like, oh, I wish I was you.
Yeah.
Like, you came up, but T-Vic didn't do me like that.
Right. Oh man, this is what's happening in this climate in the culture, in the industry.
It's a cold shift.
The things that worked in the past ain't working no more.
No.
And if you did it in the past,
Yeah. You are
Wow.
now being held accountable for it. What happens in the dark comes to light. That's what grandma would say. My grandma Bunchy would say that all the time.
and though it was wrong in the past, it was acceptable.
Yeah, it was the hierarchy was misogynistic.
Right.
It was more male.
Right.
So it was a patriarchy, and now it's a little bit matriarchal. It's like
Yeah.
we are now coming into a forefront where women. I just want us to be accountable for the things that we do. I don't want to be the kind of woman in this movement to say, well, I was victimized. I know when I wanted to fuck somebody, like they knew it too. And it was very evident. Like I'm not scared to do that. But I knew when I didn't like somebody and I was being taken advantage of.
What's your favorite memory with Puff?
Probably. I have a lot of them. I think one specific was when I knew we were getting real close, and he was just telling me about like him growing up and learning how to navigate the industry himself, and just getting $200,000 a night to do walkthroughs, which was a lot of money he was saying for him, and how he was like taking care of a lot of people. You bring that money home, and like you don't care about what you're doing with your money at that time. You're young, you put it in top drawer, keep it moving, but you're doing it a lot. And so like just the party scene at night, being out 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, getting home at 6, the sun's coming up, you're tired, you're not counting your money. And he was just like, he had a nanny for like 15 years. And he just thought like, how much money am I losing? Like, do I got all my money? You go back, you don't count it, but you're like, count it. I'm missing some fucking money. So he put a nanny cam in his house, and he caught his nanny stealing. So can you imagine like being stolen from somebody you trust for 15 years? And so then that kind of piggybacks to me telling you like people wearing his clothes and his jewelry. I mean, and then it happened to me. Because I want to be like Puff, and then I go back home and I'm like hiring assistants and people, and I'm thinking like I'm not thinking about the actual executive functions of hiring people, how to hire them, internships or anything like that. I'm just fucking hiring people and giving opportunity. And motherfuckers are stealing from me. Rolexes are missing. I don't have those things anymore because somebody had them. And they're gone.
Worst memory?
In general?
Sort of with Dirty Money, with the success. What's sort of your worst?
I don't have one. Not a worst memory. It was one of the best times of my life. Despite, me and Dawn not always getting along. And despite me and Puff not always getting along. Because we argue like cats and dogs. But I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't change anything. Not one fucking thing. It was fucking dope as fuck. Like, I wouldn't change the fireworks. I wouldn't change the fucking Vogue shoots. I wouldn't change the private jet flights. I wouldn't change fucking nothing.
Any new music?
Hell yeah. We about to drop. Rosewater is a big project that I've been working on for years. Puff's been working with me. Mad People's been working with me with this project. But, yeah. Why, nigga?
Come on, we gotta, we
What
gotta
you
hear
mean?
something.
You gotta
You
hear
ain't give me
what?
nothing.
What do you mean?
Can you let me talk?
You see? Y'all see how you do me, though?
You haven't given me anything this whole interview. Could we get something before we go?
And I was like, nigga, listen. Hey, listen, check it out. I'm about to drop this single, and it really speaks to this whole fucking thing. And I ain't even gonna sing it pretty right now, because you got me here super late. But, it's just like, just go with it. Just go with it. We don't have to think about nothing. Just go with it. Oh, just go with it. Just go with it. We don't have to worry about nothing. Crazy beat. Crazy ass verse. Gon' tell me what you used to. I used to watching movies over YouTube. I'm down with it. Whatever you cool with. Tell me stories about the old school. Tell me how you used to flip work and break rules. I'm down with it. Whatever you cool with. You know, it's just like a little conversation. The track is crazy. And it just like, I'm just a cool ass nigga. I just want to chill, man. I don't want nobody to hurt. I want everybody to love each other, but we know that's not the reality. But I would like to see Nirvana, this new heaven, this new earth that we move into. Motherfuckers could be themselves. Motherfuckers could be protected. Motherfuckers ain't getting taken advantage of. Like, you could leave your money around. Motherfuckers ain't taking your money. Everything is like the way it's supposed to be. And like, that's how I dream of like being. And this has just really shocked me to my core, because I feel like, as real as I am, I have an antenna for bullshit. And I just really believe that good people can do bad things, but we are not to judge those things. Like, we can't judge like the entirety of the person on what they've done in the past, because they could have immensely grown. And I think that's a huge thing. And I would have clocked the bullshit.
This is Trappin Anonymous. My name is Chris Styles. Let's get it.
And my name is Kalenna, you know what I'm saying?